in a podcast, he discussed the issue of sexual perversion and drug use in Washington. Two things that I assume most people, we associate that with a lot of things, but not with Washington or politicians.
Of course not.
Yeah, politicians are perverts. Come on. So Cawthorn, this is from Political. Cawthorn first raised observing sexual perversions since he came to Washington during a podcast interview in which he was asked whether the TV show House of Cards, which features an ambitious, corrupt congressman trying to rise to power, is fictitious or more like a documentary. I mean, the question itself is fantastic. You can imagine the vibe of the podcast, bunch of bros. By the way, I gave up on House of Cards after season 4. If anybody watched the British version, much better. Even the British version, season 3 is pretty crap though. And in House of Cards, like the most perverted thing he had, is that like he had a threesome with his wife and his bodyguard? Is that like the perversion? And he had some, like there were some implications that he may have had gay relations with his friends, because that's not perversion, man.
Wait,
That's
House of Cards is what's it? House of
TV
Cards,
show.
a TV show with what's his name? It's that one, right? With
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin is yeah. I never watched that one really.
The season 1 was good, but it was way too. I mean, it was funny because it's now I gave up on it because I felt it was unrealistic. But then Trump got elected, so maybe it wasn't. Anyway, but yeah, it was. I maybe in later seasons he did actually do perverted, like to children or something. But the first 4 seasons, like the most weird thing out there thing, he had a threesome, like with his bodyguard and his wife. And
yeah, so and people consider that as being.
I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe he does. I don't. I mean, he's a Republican, so probably he does.
That's true.
I assume. But like I'm just saying that the perversion he's talking about is just put it in the context. Like this is not like this is not Jeffrey Epstein. Like
yeah.
Yeah. It was a realistic depiction, Cawthorn suggested to the interviewer, claiming he had gotten sexually pursued and observed cocaine use since his election in 2020. Cocaine use? Well, what, you're gonna tell me they smoke too? I mean, this is crazy. This is
it's like that story that I brought a while ago about the UK, where they went in like the parliament and stuff, and they checked like in all the toilet stalls and everywhere you could find like traces of coke. Like it's all over the place.
I'm sorry, but if you get to that level of power, I think Dylan Moran makes that joke once. If you get to that level of power and money, what do you have? Like, what do you expect them to do? Not to do coke? That would be weird. I promise you, that would be weird.
Like in Succession, that really good actor who's like the friend of Kendall at the same time. They depict that pretty well. The guy who who has a lot of money as well. Sorry, we're going completely.
Oh, the Iranian guy,
No,
Aryan Mahdi, who's on the board.
Yeah, he's on the board too, but he's like Kendall's friend, his younger guy, like the really good actor who's doing a bunch of movies nowadays.
Yeah, he's Iranian.
Oh, really? Okay, interesting.
Well, I mean, he's the guy who's Kendall's friend, but then betrays him.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, they betray each other like 9 times. Sorry, exactly,
Yeah, did he have something to do with cocaine?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, like from the get-go. I mean, that even like they meet at a coffee shop in the morning,
and he's cocaine.
He's like, "Give me a minute." Well, Kendall was clean at that point, Then he goes all crazy. Anyway, sorry, go back.
Yeah. No, you're. I mean, I just remembered in that you have the Republican politician who does coke with Rome in the bathroom. I think they do coke together. I don't know if you've got. Maybe you haven't got it.
No,
it's in season. It's not. I didn't ruin anything. Anyway. So by the way, I watched the video where he says I was offered to go. Somebody came up to me and said to go to a sexual get together, and I don't know what is a sexual get together. But
true, I've never.
It's the most like I don't know, like family friendly version of an orgy. I think it's like you put on a Christmas movie and you start slowly stroking each other's genitalia.
But it's probably that, because it's just like people before always used to say party, and then they're like, no, it's not a party, it's a get together. So it's like the same thing, and there's like technically no
No,
difference with them.
so it's about the number of people, maybe
Maybe
less than
true.
6 people at the orgies again. Oh my god! But can you imagine? By the way, like all your life, because I imagine he might have been in orgies. He was in Frata, but like people like wanting to be all your life in an orgy, and you become powerful and you become elected politician, and then you're invited by, I don't know, like Mitch McConnell. I want to come to my house.
No, thank
Or Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer with his glass. God, you wanna? Hey, you look beautiful, little one. Like, oh my god, it's the most disappointing. Like, it wasn't worth it at all. Like, I just realized that's why they all wear the masks in the, like in the top level orgies. You know? I mean, yeah. His comments this gets better. His comments infuriated his colleagues, some of whom felt left out. No, sorry. Some of whom felt unfairly maligned, while the freshman firebrand sought to paint himself as above a laureate fray, with some members pointing to how he has faced media reports detailing sexual misconduct allegations against him before he was elected to Congress. The resulting furor went viral, serving as yet another distraction for a House GOP. And then you have reports that McCarthy, who's the leader of the Republicans right now, is gonna showed up. Listen to this. Republican Madisson Carthorn showed up in person for a primary challenger to one of his House GOP colleagues Wednesday night, just as fellow Republicans started suggesting he's the next incumbent under threat. Where is it? Where is the Kevin McCarthy bit? But sorry, I can't find it. Oh, Republican leaders question Cawthorns about DC drugs. I think one of them, I can't find it. Cawthorn's own GOP colleagues spent some of the fundraisers feet away, quietly joking at his expense, according to people in the room. The uncomfortable moment illustrates the awkward position Cawthorn now finds himself. After riding out multiple waves of mini controversies over past comments and behavior, he now seems doused by a political tsunami after alleging on a podcast that some of his colleagues attended orgies and used cocaine, which, I mean, you didn't, like, this is such a, like, I feel like sexual misconduct is so much serious than saying politicians have orgies and do cocaine. Like non-politicians do that. That's not even that special anymore. Like, everybody's poly. You know, I'm looking at somebody who is going to best represent North Carolina, and I've concluded Mr. Cawthorn is not that person. Senator Thom Tillis said in a brief interview, adding that he's endorsed an incumbent primary challenger for the first time in my political career, because I feel that strongly about it. I couldn't find the Kevin McCarthy bit, but he's also sort of asking him questions. Like, I think the main question is, talking of, there is this great SNL sketch about the Clarence Thomas getting confirmed, and they bring him in, and all the senators are like, okay, Senator, so there are allegations that you did this with these ladies and stuff. We just want to ask you, how do you talk to the ladies? Exactly. So, I have feeling this Kevin McCarthy is just going to be, he's just angry that he's never been invited to any orgy or any cocaine part. He's going to be, no, there is not going to be any public or any press for this hearing. Everybody out. Who asks you? Why am I never invited? Who's your dealer? And why am I never invited? But yeah, so things are crazy, man.
Yeah,
next thing you're gonna hear is that politicians are in it for themselves, not for the people. They're like, it's just shocking news coming out left and right.